All right, so for part 2, we have two equations here. We have population growth rate equals the per capita population growth rate times population. All right, and then if we want to find the difference between two different populations over time, we can go the final population is equal to the per capita population growth rate times the initial population plus the initial population, right? So the percentage of that population that's growing plus the population equals the final population. So why do we need two different growth rates? We got a growth rate that's a number and then a growth rate that's a percentage, right? The reason we do that is because countries or places, locations are different sizes of populations, right? So if we say, in America we had X amount of people increase in a year, that doesn't tell us as much if we compare it to a small country like Laos, right? We're going to have much different numbers. It's better if we look at percentage values. And so our R is going to be represented as, let's see, R equals percentage of population, percentage of population per year. All right, whereas our population growth rate that we mentioned earlier, right, that's going to equal people per year, so an actual number. All right, so let's dig into problem number 1 and see how we can figure this out. So we're going to be using our first equation, right? The population growth rate equals the per capita growth rate times population. All right, and we're given two values here. So let's start with the one that we don't know. So change in population over change in time, which is our population growth rate, equals 1.5 times 300,000. Now, we do need to change the percentage to a decimal. We always need to do that for when we're calculating these problems, right? So our 1.5% is actually going to turn into a decimal, right? If we move that 1.5, we move the decimal place over 2 places, right? We're now going to have 0.015 as that number we're going to plug in, because percentages are out of 100, so we need to make sure we represent that in decimal format. All right, so 0.015 times, right, times 300,000 people, all right? And that's going to give us our actual growth rate. If we do that, let's use a calculator here real quick. All right, so let's see. We got 0.015 times 300,000. All right, that's going to give us 4,500. All right, 4,500, right? So the percentage of population that's growing every year is 1.5. But if we turn that into actual people, that's going to be 4,500 people per year. All right, so the population is growing 1.5% every year. But if we represent that in people in this specific area, that's going to be 4,500 people.